Discussion B, is the animal shelter. Any discussion on that? Anybody have anything to say on that? Yes.
Honorable Mayor, Honorable Alderman, Mr. Pickman, stuff right. I'm all for the funds allocated from Mr. Biden, when we get our first share to build the animal shelter and keep animal person, dog catcher. If not, we'll be dog town, not Mount Carmel. Everybody's gonna put their animals off us and laugh at us.
Okay.
So I'm all for it. Get our equal share, that everyone gets an equal share, and not someone get more than others, and then more animosity creates. We got 4 towns. Each town should get 25%. Exactly.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I sort of missed last meeting, so I sort of don't know what's going on about Miss Stillwell. But can we get a new catcher or whatever what are we going to do about it? The renovation? Being curious. Because where I live at, there's like 50 cats where I live at. We can only catch so many, but they used to the town or the city. I don't get the dogs. I don't get Yorkshire or these fellas get cats cages. Remember the cages to catch them in? So, do we get those from the town or do we get those from the?
We have an animal in
I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
So we used to get them from the shelter. So I don't know how that's going to work now. So it's the only reason I'm even asking because there's like 50 cats where I live at. I would love to get rid of all of them, but we can't. You know how that goes. But
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
You're at life, we're going on liquor service. I would hope that the BMA will consider the animal shelter, the shape it's in, and how much it would cost to put a new one in there, and use our town's money to better uses. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Dave Moore, 121 Valley Crest Drive. First of all, I'm in fully support of the animal control program. Okay, I think Vice Mayor Malk last week or last month gave a pretty good presentation on why we need animal control, and I wholeheartedly agree. I'm not gonna. She said it very well, so I can't add a whole lot to that. I understand that animal control is not the programs like that is not the primary function of the city, but it also falls just like parks. It's something. It's one of those quality of life issues that we need to do. I mean, we need to. We've had it forever. That was one of those. This bill, in the last little bit, has illustrated the best things about a small town and the worst things about a small town. The best things, we had an animal control officer that we could call. She was doing an excellent job, as far as I know. Had that personal touch. Somebody that you could call. You know, you didn't have to go through 4 channels to get her. So she was doing good. You had that relationship with the community. The worst part about small towns also reared its head in the last 3 or 4 months. First of all, when the BMA starts talking, somebody on the BMA starts talking about a city employee, that automatically just raises flags. And then I don't understand why, if the shelter is in that bad of condition, why it hasn't come up before. It seems like if it was in that bad shape, we'd heard about it in the past year, the past 18 months, and we'd have had discussion on, okay, we need to do something about the animal control program. But it went from nothing, no discussion whatsoever, to we're getting rid of it. And then further, and I don't know a whole lot about the internal workings here, but we went from a BMA member talking about an employee to, a month later, the employee getting fired. Now, I don't know what the details are. I'm curious. I'd like to know. I'd like to know what the offense was that's so egregious that it went from straight to termination and nothing in between. Well, that's up to y'all to decide if you want to discuss it or not. But it's like, I've heard so many things about why we want to shut that down. It's almost like somebody made the decision, we're going to shut it down, and now we need to find a way to justify it. So at least let's have some public discussion and see what, obviously we're doing that now, and I appreciate Alderman McLean for bringing that up last meeting. But I'd like to see some options presented other than just shutting it down. So appreciate your time.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes. I'd like to know too, as of April the 9th,
the animal control has been shut down. And I was over there the whole time until I got fired May the 6th. And Mike, you said that nobody was supposed to, you even said it in the paper about if the place was shut down because it was unsafe for anybody to be over there, animals or employees. But yet I was over there the whole time. We shut it down on the 9th because the chief said shut it down, no more animals. So there's no animals over there. And then I was there from the 9th to the 6th. If that building was so condemned and the ceiling was going to fall in, why was I over there? I was supposed to move to the house up on Maple Street and I never was. And I knew y'all was dragging your feet. And you talking about me in the meetings was very unprofessional. Because February the 11th, in a workshop meeting, when Alderman Gillum asked you, how come you have so much hate for me? You said, I don't, and you told me to shut up. That
And
tells
I
me right there.
apologize too.
No, you didn't. You didn't apologize to me.
I
Because you was talking
apologize
about,
when he said
you were
shut up to
talking
me.
about me because of the man I live with. That's why I got my job, nepotism. I've heard that. There wasn't nothing wrong with this animal control. There wasn't nothing wrong with the building. Nobody ever said anything about the building until you all come and you were after me for personal reasons. You haven't spoke to me since we had the conversation over there at the building. When you said 2 years ago that you talked to Carl Wolf about wanting to fix the animal control building. It wasn't that. You didn't talk to him for that.
Thank you.
You talked to him because of saving your job. You needed his vote. And I told you that. Smile because you know I told you that. And I was not fired for not reporting animal cruelty. The kittens that were dumped there, everybody dumps animals there. That's not a cruelty case. A cruelty case was when we went down there on Spruce Street. It was me and Kenny Light and Cody Bustler. When we pulled that dog out of that house, that old dash hound. He was locked in the bathroom. Couldn't find nobody in the house. The house was all tore up and everything. The dog, you could see every bone in his little body. And I took possession of the dog. We got it healthy enough and we got it adopted out. That's animal cruelty. So I did not, on my, where I got fired, it says, that I refused, I didn't report an animal cruelty case. It was because of the kittens the Monday before. Kittens were dumped out. That's not animal cruelty. That's abandonment. And if you think about it, Google it. Abandonment and animal cruelty are two different things.
Okay.
I have always done my job.
Okay, thank you.
Always done my job.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay.
Yeah, hi, sorry, I'm Deb Morgan, 528 Hammond. I'd like to know what is the plan for the animals here? I mean, we're sending down the Hawkins County Humane Shelter. They're shut down half the time because of outbreaks, parvo outbreaks. They have kitten outbreaks. They have almost 100% fatality rate on their kittens. So what is the plan for the animals here? It's a question. Do we have a plan?
It's on the agenda for.
Yeah, we can't discuss with you
To be
guys.
discussed going forward here in a few minutes.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry. I came in a little bit late. I had to leave.
This is for public comment right now, so
Right.
we're not responding, but it is on the agenda that we'll discuss the animal control. So that's when we'll be able to respond back to the comment.
Okay.
So we can't respond to you directly right now, so I'm saying, because it's a public hearing.
Okay, so then when is there a response to that?
And as soon as the public hearing is completed, then we'll go into the meeting, and that's one that's on the agenda, and that's item E on the new business. On the
Okay.
agenda.
And Carl on things like that.
Thank you.
And all the shelters.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, we'll move on then. Discussion on the animal control with the board.
think that we should use keep the animal control?
We've hired somebody.
I understand that, but I think she should really stay the job to start with. And if it comes down to
John,
the
you
building.
have something you have some, papers and numbers, don't
We
you?
had some papers from the last meeting. From the context here. I mean, I asked Kenny for any information that I could get with the animal control. And I mean, just even, reviewing through the workload of calls that we get of animal control, it really doesn't justify a full-time position. It's with 9 to 10 calls in the month of April. We're going to count somebody full-time, and I don't want to get rid of animal control at all, but I do think that the option that we have of going through the county at $150 an animal is the best option. I mean, it's a business way to look at it, but we're essentially transferring our burden to them at the cost of $150.
And it's the same cost that we're.
Right, and that's a whole lot less money than what we're paying, not having to build a shelter, when the only count of animals that we had was 2019, we had 36 animals, 2020, we had 62, as of March 1st, 2021, which is from the last meeting, 10 animals. And those numbers reflect dogs and cats only. Looking at the way putting us in line with the way other cities, even small cities like Mount Carmel do, is having a part-time animal control and does not maintain a shelter. The biggest expense is the maintenance of the shelter, and that's what we're looking at, being able to take those animals to Hopkins County Humane Society, where they do a great job of taking care of the animals, and we're paying $150 and they adopt them out locally.
And even when they're full, they still got a spot for us.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing. Even if they're full taking animals for the general public, we're paying at that rate for them to take our animals.
Are they no kill shelter down there?
They are.
You can tell us those.
Sandy
I'm
does
sorry.
not euthanize. Sandy's like Sherry, she wouldn't euthanize unless it was like detrimental, in regards for it. But also the animal shelter is in a restricted area. So regular citizens couldn't go in there, because it's over where the sewer department is. Also, there's nowhere else that I can think of where we could build another one, because everything's residential up this way and nobody wants an animal shelter in their neighborhood.
That's the one thing. I got a quote on a new building for animal control. We've been quoted anywhere from 40,000 to mid-40s to fix our animal shelter. I got a quote on the building, a 30 by 31, built on our concrete pad for $12,500. That's an all-steel building that has 3 walk-through doors and 3 windows.
Is that the concrete pad where the animal shelter is at now in a restricted area?
This is any concrete pad.
But where would we put it though, is my,
We have a piece of property on Independence. Used to be a restaurant. It's right behind our pump station 5.
so right
I
there
know
where
there's
that.
been talk about building a road through there. There's enough area on that piece of property that you could put the building.
Are you talking about there where Meadow Springs is? Where that pump station is?
Yeah.
Where that,
It's in the woods department. It's actually flat once you get back there. I think would be a good location for animal control. But, it's up to the board. I just got the quote on the building, so.
Great work for the
Very late.
Are you putting that in motion?
Not yet. The concrete pad's roughly $4,800 for a building of that size. Which, there's more expense, which that comes out to about $1,730. We'll have to put power to it and water, which is not a great deal of expense. I think we could put this building up and create an animal shelter if the board, if it's their will, for less than $30,000. I think that's a lot better deal than the 40,000 we
When we
have.
opened the animal control before, at way back. Chris Jones was the first animal control person. And when we opened it up, it was animal control only. It was not, to take dogs and cats and everything else in as an animal shelter. So I think we should keep the animal control, but not an animal shelter.
The problem I have with Hawkins County Humane Society, they state, well, yeah, we have small pens down there. If my dog gets out, I would hate to see it go to Hawkins County Animal Control. Because more than likely it's gonna be sick when it comes back.
You said they had small.
Hawkins County Animal, or the Hawkins County Animal Shelter, not to call you out, Ray Jesse, but we do have a commissioner in here that is the one who helps allocate those funds to the animal shelter, so.
I don't think
that's
they do
something-
it.
Yeah, I know.
It's
the nice,
place.
it's the
She goes down there a lot.
That's
I can
nice.
tell you that.
But then,
And it is when she
but I'm
touches all the
speaking
time.
on myself, my dog goes down there, I have to drive to Rogersville.
Well, you gotta have a collar on it with their address.
Well, once I go down there to pick it up, I have to pay a $25 fee to get it.
But you'd have to pay a fee about home if your dog got loose and
Yeah,
have
but I
to
don't
pick it
have
up
to
here.
drive to Rogersville to do it.
You drive Roswell, you get paid, how much fee you get paid, what now? Cause I get no.
$25 fee.
Okay.
So we're gonna have animal control if he picks up 5 animals during the day. Is that 5 trips to Rogersville?
But then you're looking at average, we don't average that much.
How much money do we take in on adoptions and people getting fined for their animals being loose? Because from my understanding, the majority of the animals don't get adopted out here where we get money. They go to a rescue up north or.
We're animal control, she was never an animal shelter. No.
Exactly.
Right,
That's why-
right, but everybody.
That's why we're trying to get out of the animal shelter.
Exactly.
But we never
She was
was.
never an
We never
animal
was in the animal shelter business. I was animal control. I turned away a lot of people because I wasn't allowed to take unwanted animals. This one lady called me and said she didn't want her animal anymore, and she wanted me to take it. And I said, I'm sorry, but I'm animal control.
I'm sorry.
I don't
we're
take,
not
I don't
supposed to
take
discuss
unwanted
how
animals.
it is.
And I said she had.
Okay, We
We
can't take a discussion in the,
Yeah, I do think a lot of it comes down to personal
You don't want
responsibility.
discussion in here. You don't want to hear you don't want to hear the
Making sure that
citizens
you
what they
have
got
your
to
animals
say.
tagged, you know, with an animal, with a collar, or even microchip.
They do what they want to.
That's something that we can do for the cost of a chip reader. And we don't have to go, or take them down to.
We got, you can get a chip.
Yeah, get a chip reader, we can keep, we're trying to return them before we have to have the cost of taking them to Hawkins County. Because I mean, I know Hawkins County does, you know, they do run with a high capacity, but if we can, the goal should be returning.
That chip reader is not high anyway.
But that goes, you have to go through the vet with the chip.
Yeah.
We have a vet here in
A lot of people don't go to the vet.
And that's a smart thing is to have a chip reader because our neighbor had, we had a dog running in our subdivision. And he took it to the vet to see if it had a chip reader in it, and it didn't. So if you have an animal and you want to keep that animal, you should have chip readers in it so that they'll know where it goes to. I bought one, and he's got a chip reader.
I mean, it was said at the last meeting that, you know, it's a right to pick up your animal in town. I mean, I would say it's more of a convenience. And that's what we're looking at. It's a big burden of cost to have for animals, small amounts of animals. I mean, again, we're only talking about 60 animals. When you break down the cost of what we're spending per animal, it's a whole lot more than we're spending per senior, I can guarantee you that.
That's right.
I think we need to have more discussion on this animal control at workshop.
We done had a workshop on it.
I've got the floor right now.
And so I think that we need to roll out.
No, Pat wants to roll out because she's already been.
No more.
Wow.
It's Biden White.
Well, I'm gonna ask you to leave if you say something else.
I think there's a lot of unknowns with our animal control policy right now. What we're supposed to do and what we might do and what,
John's got it right there.
I think we need to get something in writing before we vote to do anything on animal control? Cause it's kinda up in the air, I mean, are we still gonna have a kennel of some kind to hold these for
No,
transportation?
no.
Are you gonna, if you pick up an animal of a morning, one at 10 o'clock, are you gonna take the first one to Rogers, will come back, are we gonna make 5 trips a day, or are we gonna make 10 a day?
The amount of animals.
You made, well, one, I don't know how many times we've picked up 5 animals in a day, given, you know, our numbers.
I mean, if you come to my house and pick up all 75 across the street, can you transport that many at one time?
If we picked up 75 animals from your house, I'll
Across the
knock on
street
your
from
door.
his house.
Well, I mean, if there's $75, well, how come they haven't been picked up already?
A puppy.
Across the street from my house, you can get 75 animals.
I can get about 50 cats across the road from my house.
Well,
And you
Then
can
they-
start calling animal
I mean,
control.
I can only ask why we haven't picked up 75 animals across the
But,
street from
you
the
know, I
house.
really think.
Yeah, why haven't
You tell me.
I mean,
Is there 75 dogs?
I mean, I
running around?
had my dog practically killed in my yard back about 5 years ago. With pit bulls across the street. There's never been less than 30 dogs over there. The guy was fined outrageous, but did any of the dogs get
Yeah, I saw that.
That's why I'm saying our animal control policy needs to be really looked into before we vote to see what we're gonna do. Whether we do a shelter, a kennel, or take them to road.
So I agree with the ordinance needs to be updated. Our animal control ordinance absolutely needs to be changed. Because right now, if you read the ordinance reads that we euthanize after, I believe, 5 or 7 days.
I think it's 5 minutes.
That's the way the ordinance reads.
I got no
Now, we haven't been following that ordinance, and I actually agree with you, that needs to be changed. But as far as the
I
animal,
made to that back several years ago, but.
I just pulled it off the website.
Right, yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know, I just, but that's,
To
the
kill
whole,
that
that whole
whole
policy
bed
needs
is
to
give
be
one a shot to kill that
whole-
bed.
We're gonna euthanize an animal after 5 days, you know, it doesn't, I don't think that's right at all, but as far as the day-to-day operations, before that policy gets changed, I mean, I just make the motion that we allow Chief Lunsford to continue operations the way he sees fit, taking the animals down with the, the part-time animal control officer we have, so.
I second.
So pending review and potential change to the ordinance, your motion is to allow the chief to continue operating, taking animals to the Hawkins County
Exactly.
Humane Society, which I mean, I anticipate we would have to do anyway because the shelter's not open.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Day to day.
So just to continue operations as is.
Right.
So we have a motion and a second.
Work it out to review.
Until we change something.
All right, we need a vote.
There's no way.
So can this be tabled to the next workshop?
We can put it on the next workshop as well, but we can vote.
Well, you're talking
Yeah.
about, the ordinance, right?
But we have a motion and a second, so we have to vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Go all in favor, can we do it that way, or do we have to?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
This is just to continue, hold on a second, Darby, this question. about-
I'm sorry, Darby, what'd you
This
say?
is continuing operations, the way that we've been doing it, taking animals that the part-time animal control officer might pick up to Hawkins County Animal Shelter.
Part-time,
So that's, we're just continuing operations the way that we've been doing until we have a chance to review, repeal, replace, whatever we're gonna do with the ordinance. That's the way, I understand is that,
And decide on it, and decide if we want to build a shelter.
if you want, yeah.
It just leaves all the options open. But
Options open, but we're just continuing day-to-day operations as is currently.
You had to do that way anyway, wouldn't
Yeah.
Essentially, that's why I'm making the motion that we
I second.
continue that.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those in no. Passed. We will state had animal control shelter. Animal control, part-time person. And they take it to Rogers School.